What's going on, YouTube? Time for a recap. As we always love to do, we start on the X. Let's see what kind of plays, examples, and what's going on in our chat. So, nice short from the mini algos that we had gotten. We were doing this about 3:20 a.m. this morning, so quite a bit long ago. And going through another walkthrough trade and getting a nice little P&L start to the day there. All the top step accounts up little bit there. Some of the laggers and leaders, the Apex accounts, 900 across the board. So we had some fantastic calls here, and this is what we do in the Discord bright and early in the morning. So we ended up taking tons of algo scalps again, calling out where the gaps are, where the calls are, where the average is, what to be above. So this is what we do in our Discord all morning here. In the last couple hours of the pre-market, we really smacked some out of here. We're even throwing up the gap algo system that I use on the 1 minute chart. It was on fire today. We did have some short targets if the market went down and long targets if the market went up. So we had an impulse move to the long side, which we'll talk about and how we found the over under there and which way we were going. And the ES call right here 7 hours ago, it's November 5th. Happy voting day. You think the market's going to close red on November 5th? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a green day. So the psychology was lifted up there and pushed, right? So on this ES call, I seen the impulse out of the gate, and I'm like, it's game over. We seen VIX gap and go. It was set up for the long. So we swapped everything over our algo, anything over 57.57. We're going right here to 577.550. We nailed that and be on for the long call target again, just demolishing. That was a free call for X. And now for the daily chart, we went over here on SPY, and this was our huge engulfing. We'll go over this setup again. If you missed the last couple YouTube videos, hit the bottom of that trade day yesterday, caused that bounce into the 50 we called as well, if you watched the last YouTube video, and then caused this nice big green gap I said would go to the gap on the daily. So if you read my writing, it says long above 571.18. and it says gap tag right there. And I called just under 577 for the day. And I want to see it get into this daily gap you see in the gray on the daily chart on SPY. What a monster day, or 1.4% is what I predicted for a potential move. Let's get into it. So we have the top steps here, and I'll show you where we're potentially heading once we bang through that gap, potentially, right, is the keyword. And this is a little bit of the NQ with a little bit of an anchor chase long that we had called right here. Buy the anchor dip and go. So I'm going to make a big thing about anchor VWAPs here soon. Here's the cluster. Now I posted this cluster again on X multiple times here. We're going to go up to 20,429 potential here. And that's where we said if we don't come back down and test these algos, we get the long day. We're going to boost back up 20,429. And I can't really tell you where I get these algos from these back tests. They're so clean. They're so good. They're just can't release the system. So let's take a peek at SPY. So this was the call, right? Anything long above 61.8, we were going to go to the gap tag. I called 577 for the day, just about from my team, and it went to 576. Oh, I was off by 25 cents. What a shit market prediction. 25 cents, guys. I guess anything over the long call here, and then I did another long call later. Only 40 points on ES. That's trash. All right. So like I said, we're going to come into the gap. Posted that one for free on X. Here is it pressing into the gap on the daily chart. And we called that way down here because of that golden pocket rule. So let's talk about it. We're going to go through the big confirmations here. And I'm going to make another video right after this going through the intraday crazy deep-ended confirmations. So this one's going to be a short, quick pick, and the next one's going to be long. Golden pocket, anything long above 571.18 was the original call. See the initial break up and over, and she's gone. Late of the day, I got off stream about 10:15, 10:20, and I said, any dip into VWAP, buy it and go long towards 577. Well, we had one dip right here just prior to when we got off. It pushed into the gap as predicted. It pulled back down into the VWAP area. It shied it, right? So buy the shit out of anything close to that VWAP because we shied it. We still don't have a tag. There's no price action tag besides the break over at open that we've had interacted with VWAP in the purple. Quite crazy. So we said buy anything into the VWAP, go long into 577. So we pushed into the gap on the daily chart. As predicted and as timestamped on the X, right? And this is what we covered in our Discord every single morning. Live trading, not just Discord text calls. We do this at 8 a.m. Central. So here's that 10 SMA that we banged into. Same with the QQQ, right? So we're calling anything, like I said on the daily chart long 61.8, anything above this goes into the gap and it will not fill because we have a super high percent chance to not fill a gap the first interaction that it has, which means once the gap down candle is created and there is a gap with no tag, the first candle that presses into that gap generally will not fill it, and that'll be the end for the day. And that's, again, that's nothing is guaranteed in the market, but that is a huge percentile chance. It's one of our favorite trades here. So with what we got on the screen, let's go over the QQQ intraday and see how we did over there for the calls, because we had some amazing algos and pre-market to work with. And I'm going to go over what you would look for here. So this one a little bit more bright and colorful. We had our over, under, and mass support. So got lots of pictures here. We're just going to stick to live, I guess, actually. So support was in the blue, over, under was in the orange, okay? And where do these levels come from? Well, we have an algorithm right here on the 5-minute. This is the high-low Fibonacci, right? And that's what you see right here, 1618, 2618, and the 100 right here, right? So generally speaking, an algorithm will utilize Fibonacci's golden pocket. The golden pocket is in between 3820 and 50 once you draw your 100 and 0% fib high-low, right? So once that's done, we had a opportunity to see the golden pocket support. So the algorithm right here, we fibbed out, it came down in pre-market, tagged the golden pocket like we love to see, and opened up right at the 100 fib was screaming, just banged into the 1618. Okay, we don't expect to pull back there. We're getting a monstrous amount of upside coming. And that's what we said. We're going to fly all the way back to some of those gaps and most likely retracing to some prior gold levels we needed to back test, cough, 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 that we got scammed on the double gap day. So that's where NQ and QQQ are going to head. QQQ is going to go 493.85 most likely by the end of the week. And on the continuation over that into the double gap that we are had on the daily chart. If you're not familiar with that, we have a gap down and up in the same area in these big gray boxes. And this gold level is where, again, as I just said, price action pushes into a daily gap and then generally does not fill and reverses. That is what happened right here on 1029 as well, okay? So this gap was created and then the big gap down was created. That means there is a double gap right here, and I marked it with a gold level that price action has not been into. So this push into the gap that we had got today most likely will continue to at least this gold level 493.85, because that's the candle on the 29th that had pushed into the gap and did not fill. So the algorithm in pre-market, we box out, we got the over under blown out of the gate, and then we traded two other trades, right? And we said anything above the golden pocket is support and the blue, right? We drew that out, posted tons of pretty pictures in Discord. And we said the break over the 1618 and then 2618. And then once we came here, I said short, and we need to short down to VWAP, okay? And things love to come in threes in the market. I did a little mini lesson to this in class where we had high, lower, lower, low, lower, low. So that is a 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. And we're short to the VWAP. So we had a beautiful call there, about 60 some points on the top side from this guy right here. Excuse me. And that's where we had the VWAP confirmation hit. And like I said on the SPY, nothing is different here on the QQQ. Any dip into the VWAP is going to be trend for the day, is what I told my team. Buy anything into the VWAP, okay? Because that's going to keep continuing. So we broke through the VWAP at the open. Q's back tested it perfectly, hit a higher high. Q's back tested it perfectly, and off she went again. So again, if you just would have waited for those VWAP, I was going to say YouTube lines, VWAP lines right here, all you would have had to do is wait for that and make a purchase right at the volume weighted average price. And that's what we had said was going to happen. Got a beautiful high push into the 50 weekly as well. So we had a awesome setup there. Now, last but not least, I do want to touch on VIX's gap and go. And we do have the large gap again. So in the last couple of videos, I had actually just touched on this again, where VIX had left a very big opening gap and then started plummeting. And when it puts in a opening candle like this and a little continuation, this is going to be a gap and go. Gap and go where manipulation of action comes in. And you notice this on every single indicator. You can't not notice it. So what you see here is literally for the entire day, and instead of about 9:15 a.m. is where the RSI started to come up. 10 a.m. is where the MAC crossed. Did the price action do absolutely anything during all of the bullish metrics of these indicators? No, it did not. So this is pinned price action, right? Fully calculated algorithmic response trading. And this is where the algos will grab hold of a ticker or VIX or whatever it wants to, and it will put it in its place and it will not let it go outside generally of a 10 SMA. It just rides it kind of on the 5-minute or 1-minute chart down. So if I were to grab even a simple moving average here, like so, and it'll do blue. It'll do 10, but you'll see it'll be very close to that. Yeah, just riding. And 1 minute it's going to be a tad faster. So this is what I mean by riding the moving average. So when the algorithms grab something like this and they just pin it to the 10 SMA, look at that. Just nothing. And then it finally breaks away after the algos. And now algos shift from market open ship and market close. So the EU closes around 10:30 a.m. Central my time. So within an hour to a half hour after that, moves tend to pick direction a lot easier up or down once the euro close happens. So we had to wait till almost an hour past the euro close before it broke away from that downtrended 10 SMA hugging, went back up to the 100 and then peaked up. But obviously if the VIX goes up, market comes down. So the market had a little bit of a pullback here through that noon 1 o'clock, quote unquote pullback, right? Because once we go to the market here on SPY, look at the same exact time, right around that noon time. This is that small little red that you see right there. And this was the only short back down into the VWAP range to long again on QQQ and SPY, besides the 3 down that we had from some small diversions on the QQQ we just discussed. So a lot of amazing calls today on the X. Give us a follow over there. If you want to trade with us live, we do this every single morning, 8 a.m. Central. We are live. We break it down in Discord from sometimes 3, 4 in the morning, all the way till 10 in the morning Central. I'm up very early watching these futures right after China close a lot of times, 2, 3 in the morning. You know, I go to bed at like 6:30 p.m. to get up for that. So I'm in the Discord, always constantly teaching, constantly walking you through the trades, constantly posting pretty pictures. We got a lot of examples even here that we go through, and I draw these pictures for our crew right here. So if I pin this one real quick and kind of blow it up, you can see right here, this is what I'd posted in chat. And I was like, guys, we're on the SPY here. And I said, this was sub about 10:30. It looks like maybe just before. And I said, guys, look at this. I drew the pretty line and went up, and I said, into VWAP, purchase it. Anything close? Long target right here, 577. You can see that on the screen, right? Blam, blam, oh, I missed it, blam, blam, 577. And I said target 1 right here, target 2 right here. That was coming up to those 0 lines. So again, we try to make these predictions happen a lot earlier than, when we get off stream, 10:30 a.m. Central, and we make predictions for the whole day. I drew this fancy spiky line right here and told you it was going to come to 577 just about for the day. Again, as you've seen it earlier in the video, I missed it by 25 cents. So absolute crap prediction. Only 40 points, yes, but it's all good. We'll get the next one, right? So any of this interests you guys, you want to trade with us live, you can do that in the description. You can join us live in our Discord as well as Zoom screen share. If you want to support the channel in a different way, and you want to help us out here at the Trade Garage, you can sign up with Apex Trading Fund. TG33 is the code, and it's much appreciated. So maybe we'll see you in chat. If not, we'll see you on the next video. Take care.